to Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television, the first one for this week. And we are very excited. I am particularly excited, to welcome you. This is a new day, a brand new week, a rare opportunity at life to do everything that we have always proposed to do. You have another time, you have another chance to fulfill your dreams. Femi Ojo is my name. And by the way, when we were leaving on Friday, we told you we were going to be back. And thank God, thank goodness, we are here to give you what you want. Being informed, being carried along in the decision-making process of this nation by giving you up-to-date information and making you a part of the conversation about this project called Nigeria. It should not fail. It will not fail, but we all have a work to do. And the program, we look at different dailies, and then we get talking about these issues. And I don't do that alone. Daniel is with me. Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, good morning, Femi.
Happy New Week.
Oh, same here. Trust you had a great weekend.
I did so much, actually, and it's good to be back here.
Absolutely. It's great to be back, great to be alive. Good morning to you, our distinguished viewers. Thank you for joining us once again on Morning Spring. It's always a pleasure to be here. Daniel Emeka is my name. And just like Femi said, every day right here on Morning Spring, we bring you the best of news and information, starting with the newspaper reviews. Then, of course, we dive into critical matters, conversations with stakeholders. And if it truly matters, you get to hear it from us right here on Morning Spring. And we say it as it is. That's the best part of it. We say it as it is right here on Morning Spring. Once again, thank you for joining us. It's a fresh week. It's a fresh start. Of course, I am feeling fresh as always, and I'm sure you are too. Trust you had a great weekend. It promises to be a great week, and of course, you do not want to miss any part of the program this week. Thank you once again for joining us.
Very well. As you said, the newspaper segment is the first point of call, and I'm sure we have so many things to let them know. The lineup is so huge and, so detailed. So if you're ready, we are ready as well. And we are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG on YouTube, Western Spring Television NG. And of course, we talk about other things that you would like to know. But because of the exigency of time, the newspaper segment is next. Stay with us. All right, let's start the newspaper segment from the Daily Trust, the Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust newspaper for today. UNN never issued me degree certificate. Minister, UNN, never. And that is based on allegation of forgery. Alleged forgery. UNN never issued me degree certificate. Minister, so you'll have to know which minister we're talking about here. The issue of allegation of certificate forgery is in the news, and 751 local government areas are lagging behind in fiscal transparency. 751 local government areas lagging behind in fiscal transparency. A committee proposes 13 new emirates in Bauchi. Committee proposes 13 new emirates in Bauchi. And gunmen killed 2 wedding guests at FCT. That's a sad one. Gunmen killed 2 wedding guests at FCT. And that's bizarre and very unfortunate there. Moving on, the political carnival at Netanyahu's mother's burial. The political carnival at Netanyahu's mother's burial. Netanyahu is the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. And you have a picture there of, a man and other 2 women. Moving on, bottom street, 4,778 die of cholera in 5 years. That's 20, in 5 years, 4,778 die of cholera in 5 years. And how we lost them within hours. Families and why cases are rising export. How we lost them within hours, families, why cases are rising export. Sadly, almost 5,000, that's 4,778, die of cholera in 5 years in modern times.
That's outrageous.
Outrageous and unfortunate and needless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is not 1980.
Yeah.
This is not 1940.
Yeah, it simply shows that people still do not have access to, good portable drinking water and of course, just sanitation. That's proper sanitation. Well, of course, the time I saw this story, this report that showed that quite a lot of Nigerians do not have access to adequate sanitation. People don't have toilets. We're still having open defecation, Femi, in 2025 in many parts of Nigeria, which is quite unfortunate. Of course, when we have all that, you can't avoid diseases like cholera and so on.
It's just like you said, it's you might want to say systemic failure in a kind of way, because that means it's a lack of social basic amenity, health,
absolutely, yeah.
Basic amenities. All right, away from that, we let you know that top strip of the Daily Trust front page as this plot to remove Reps minority leader thickens. Why? Plot to remove Reps minority leader thickens. An expert link 194,876 teachers deficit to poor welfare. Experts link 194,876 teachers deficit to poor welfare. All right, those are the people that should be imparting knowledge. And Senator Barrow to distribute 20,000 naira each to 10,000 less privileged persons in Kano. All right, so much for the deputies. Senate president there. And that will be all from the Daily Trust front page for today.
And from the Daily Trust, we move to the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. On the Guardian newspaper, quite a busy one as usual, the banner headline, government may earn 1 trillion naira yearly from capital gains as new tax causes stir. Government may earn 1 trillion naira yearly from capital gains as new tax causes stir. You find details of that on page 6. Of course, the new tax administration scheme, which was introduced to include everyone in the net, and the tax net, will take effect from January 1, 2026. And of course, it will result in, more revenue for the government. Everyone will be captured in that scheme. And we have it here that the government might be earning up to 1 trillion naira yearly from that. It is one thing to make all that money, to earn all that money from taxpayers. Another thing is to make sure those monies are being judiciously used to improve the lives of the citizens. And that's exactly what we are talking about. If social amenities are provided, then Nigerians wouldn't be complaining of paying tax rather. If you know that your taxes are working for you, you don't have any problems whatsoever paying your taxes. And let's just hope there's full implementation of all the plans for the revenue, increasing revenue as a result of, tax payment. Away from that, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Cooking gas scarcity pushes price to 3,000 naira per kg. Cooking gas scarcity pushes price to 3,000 naira per kilogram. You find that story on page 5. Cooking gas in Nigeria, 3,000 naira. Someone is smiling here. That's quite outrageous. I said it here last week that Nigeria is a nation blessed with so much, huge amounts of gas reserves. Yeah. Okay, we've not even started tapping into it. For several decades, we've been flaring gas, just wasting it simply because we cannot harness, the resources we have. Now we are having shortage, scarcity of cooking gas. Some people may have to pay up to 3,000 naira for those who cook regularly, you know what I mean? But this is quite outrageous. Away from that, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Confusion as status quo order pits police against NBA. Confusion as status quo order pits police against NBA. You find that story on page 3. I guess that should be talking about the tinted glass permit. Last week, we saw that row between the NBA, the Nigerian Bar Association, and the Nigerian Police concerning the case of tinted glass permits in Nigeria. You might want to read up details of that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Away from that, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, Lagos residents lament flash flooding urge government to enforce planning laws. Lagos residents lament flash flooding. Urge government to enforce planning laws. You find details of that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. World Teachers' Day. Tinubu NLC British Council laments education challenges. World Teachers' Day. Tinubu NLC British Council laments education challenges. You'll find that story on page 4. So much for teachers. Without teachers, we wouldn't be here. Without teachers, I wouldn't be here. And most of all, Femi, I cannot value those who taught me in elementary school. I think I've said before, those are my real teachers. I appreciate them a lot because they did the greatest work. Those who taught me how to write and how to read. Because after elementary school and primary school, then secondary school as well, the rest is actually you learning on your own. Okay, so we cannot, overemphasize the importance of teachers. Teachers are very important. When you go to tertiary institutions, we know what happens, in most of these public schools. They barely even teach sometimes. So it's just your ability to build on what you've learned and acquire knowledge. But those elementary teachers, I respect them a lot. They do, a whole lot of work. You imagine trying to teach a child how to write. I remember then, when I was very little, teacher trying to teach me how to write, and you write something, you're just doodling, and somehow you're not just getting it, you're just trying to, and they'll tell you, no, it's not like this, you do it like this, till you get it right. Teachers are wonderful, and congratulations to all teachers on World Teachers Day celebration.
They do a very good and noble job.
Absolutely.
Of imparting and instilling knowledge in children that are not theirs, actually, most of the times. But then for me, I think every teacher at all levels deserves to be celebrated. Those who lay the foundation, just like you talk about, very solid one, which is quite germane for the rest of the building.
Exactly.
Educational building that is being built actually from primary. These days we even have crèche, reception, KG1, and all of those things. To primary, to secondary schools, because those, they take you from your elementary stage and open up your mind to what you are to expect later in life, and to the teachers at tertiary institutions who are going through a lot to do whatever they do, shaping orientation about career choices and all of those things that deserves to be celebrated. So happy World Teachers Day. Today is public holiday because of them. It's supposed to be yesterday, 5th, but because it was transferred today for them to have a good time, whatever that means. If actually they have enough money in their pocket, or they will just sleep.
That's another question.
But happy World Teachers Day to all of them.
Absolutely. It feels great to be a teacher. Very noble profession. Away from that, I'm still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Tinubu's botched visit. Oti, Kalu, trade words ahead of Abia 2027. Tinubu's botched visit. Oti, Kalu trade words ahead of Abia 2027. You'll find details of that story on page 7. You might want to find out what exactly are they trading words over. And of course, it also talks about Tinubu's botched visit right there. Below that, we have another story. Bureaus kick against tax stamps rollout, warn of inflammatory impact. You find details of that one on the finance and economic page. That's on page 18 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Cardoso, single-digit inflation remains our medium-term target. You find details of that on page 15. Why single-digit inflation is their medium-term target. How about the long-term? You might want to find out why that is so on page 15. Plots to remove Chinda divides House of Representatives. Plots to remove Chinda divides House of Representatives. You find that story on page 3. And below that, fresh violence, mass displacements, test government's grip on security. Fresh violence, mass displacements, test government's grip on security. You find details of that story on page 6. And on the bottom strip, end rascality, vested interest in Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry now. I'll tell that again, end rascality, vested interest in Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry now. You find details of that story on page 12. And that'll be all from the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Right, moving on from the Guardian, let's see what the Nation has for us. Tinubu. All right, okay, I just take the Punch then. The Punch newspaper. Terrorism. Retired generals back course for state of emergency. The Punch. Terrorism. Retired generals back course for state of emergency. Ex-military chiefs' state of emergency will speed up anti-insurgency efforts. Only large-scale troop deployments can defeat Boko Haram. That's from Northern Elders. And Borno dismisses call, says Irabo entitled to opinion. Terrorism. Retired generals back call for state of emergency. Here we go, Daniel. Retired generals are saying, let there be state of emergency as far as terrorism is concerned.
Absolutely, because so many states are under siege. When we've had state governors crying out that they are losing control of their state, and nothing is being done, no state of emergency has been declared. Yeah. And when you compare that to River State, that the president wasted no time at all to declare a state of emergency, you begin to wonder, so what is special? You know, we've said it here before again and again. What is special about River State? I mean, there was no widespread violence.
No killing.
Okay, no killing, nothing of such.
On that account, no single killing.
They just said to avoid it. I mean, and so how about those states where people can't even go to their farms? States like Zamfara, Plateau, Benue, Katsina, and so on. Of course, so the generals have a point, demanding a state of emergency.
All right. And, another rider says, some of those riders, only large-scale troop deployment can defeat Boko Haram. Northern Elders. The issue of Boko Haram, actually, because that sometimes you just think that it's not just the kinetic, or how did they say it now? Yeah. How about, because it seems when you hear some things that some people say, sometimes it sounds like there are some people who still feel these Boko Haram, these who camouflage under the guise of religion, possibly they are for them, or, they are not against them.
Okay, you mean those who are sympathetic to them?
Sympathetic and apologetic to their cause, because, they came with Boko Haram. Yeah. Western education is haram, it's bad. It's a taboo, all of those things, because sometimes, see the issue of Lakurawa, we learned that when they came in as evangelists, as philanthropists. Evangelists, people who are, propagating religion, spreading the gospel, so to say. All of a sudden, then the people give them chance. Oh, these are brothers, and all of those things. And before you know what's happening, they penetrate them, and then they turn on them, just like we have seen. And so, apart from the kinetic approach, I think everybody in Nigeria should realize and agree, for whatever religious consideration, tribal consideration, that these people, they will never be our friends.
Absolutely.
They are criminals, they are killers, and they should be regarded and dealt with as killers.
Yeah, criminals should be dealt with as criminals, just like you said, and they shouldn't be protected by their
Doesn't
relatives.
matter the Arabic inscription or whatever they say before they carry out these things.
Yeah.
They are just, at best, criminals. And that's what they are and who they are. All right, below that, E1 Lagos. A Brazilian team win Lagos electric boat race. Lagos electric boat race. And you can see some of those inserts there, of speeding boats. And that is not Johannesburg. And it's not, Miami. It is Lagos. Your Lagos, our Lagos. That's what is happening. E1, we have F1, that's Formula One.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the E1 is about water racing. And in 2025 is a reality. It happened in Lagos.
Lagos is a center of excellence, so Lagos can actually do that. Yeah. Proudly Lagos. Yeah. some of us are probably Lagosians. Yeah, no matter what anyone says.
I hope your Delta people will not frown at
yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. It's just that in this part of the world, in Nigeria, for instance, you're born in a place, you grew up in the place, you spend decades in the place, and someone still tells you that you are not from there. Come on, Lagos is my hometown. With all due respect to my state, of course, I always say my parents are from Delta State. So with all due respect, I'm from Delta State as well. But I haven't spent all my life in Lagos. Come on, you can't tell me I'm not a Lagosian.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm only saying. All right, away from that, and by the way, at the end of the day, Brazilian team win Lagos electric boat race. All right, it means anything can happen. We can achieve anything if actually we set up our minds to do that. And how Oshimamotekun shot two siblings dead from a stepmother. How Oshimamotekun shot two siblings dead.
That's quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, actually. And it's been a very controversial one with the issue of these Amotekun.
Two siblings, how
shootings. And, well, people will have to read through to really know what happened. Sad. And gunmen, another sad one here. A gunman killed 4. Shoot teenager near Lagos barracks. Gunmen kill 4. Shoot teenager near Lagos barracks. And NMA conduct court-ordered checks on Kanu. Submit report. NMA conduct court-ordered checks on Kanu and submit report. And top strip, Nigeria's trade with African countries surges by 610 billion naira. Nigeria's trade with African countries surges by 610 billion naira, and that's coming, from the Minister of State for Trade and Investment. And FX inflows push naira to 1,465 naira per dollar. FX forex inflows push naira to 1,465 naira per dollar, and petrol remains 65 naira per litre amid Dangote's free delivery. Petrol remains 65 naira per litre amid Dangote's free delivery. Okay, well, I think this is engine art. They are supposed to be, the effect of these delivery thing that Dangote has even started. Not sure, because it has been back and forth with the Dapman, Pengasan, Upeng issues and all of those things.
Absolutely. I think the federal government stepped in to intervene. And so...
No, I mean those CNG trucks. Have they started
the delivery? Oh, that's what we don't know. So
because this is talking about petrol remains 65 naira per litre amid Dangote's free
delivery. Perhaps it has started, Ipman will be, in a better position to confirm that, because they are the marketers, and according to Ipman, it's a welcome idea for them.
For Ipman, they're open to it.
Exactly, because Dangote is relieving them the stress. If they cannot reach, all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, and Dangote is willing to do it for free, come on. Who doesn't like free things?
And that should mean at least some, some percentage of reduction, actually, because that means you don't have to be going around with your trucks, all those delivery costs and all of those things that's there. Ipman is open. I think it's Petro1 that is raising,
well, here's what I think, Femi. The point is definitely there will be reduction in terms of cost on the price of, those marketers, those retailers. But sometimes they might want to, just keep that one in their pockets. I mean, they are saving some money. For them, it's just, means of saving money. Instead of them to reduce it so that it trickles down to the end users.
Not really for public good, just to amass more things for themselves. Anyway, I think that will be all for the newspaper segment for today. We'll take a break right now. When we return, we have so much to tell you and so much for you to be a part of, as well as we are live on our Facebook page at Western Spring Television, and of course on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG. You can be a part of this program. Let us know how you feel and what you're thinking about what we will discuss shortly.